Congratulations, New York City. You just elected a terrorist for mayor. Zoran Mamdani is gonna run that city to the ground even more. You know who's not gonna go there anymore? Me. Affordability? Yeah.
No, it's looking really good for us in the midterms, but we got to keep this pace moving. I love to see white folks crash out. Let's see what today brings us.
Republicans are having a huge meltdown following the win of Zoran Mamdani as the new mayor for New York City. Their meltdown is so loud, unhinged, and just embarrassing. The moment Zoran Mamdani was announced the new mayor of New York City, it was as if every far-right fear came crashing down all at once. The billionaire class is sweating, and the MAGA crowd, oh my God, they are foaming in the mouth. And before you know it, they are all suddenly screaming about Sharia law like it is 2001 all over again. Let's take a look at this man because he is having a huge meltdown with every muscle in his body. Take a look at this.
Mind you, on Sunday, Mamdani was in a gay club, pandering to the gay people to try to get votes. And let me explain something to you. People were like,
what do you mean pandering to gay? What do you mean?
Right?
What do you mean pandering to gay people?
He was pandering.
You mean trying to campaign to his voters?
Because I'm going to finish right now because there's something.
Okay,
you know where he's
do.
from? Uganda. Do you know how Uganda treats gay people? Have you been to Uganda?
Yes.
Have you heard what Ugandans do?
Is Zoran Mamdani responsible for
he's a Muslim dude from there.
This is what I'm talking
and what
about.
he's practicing, Piers, what he's practicing is called taqiyya, okay? It's a practice in Islam, all right, Piers, that you deceive and you lie about stuff just to have people to further your Islam agenda. You're being
hang on,
duped,
Vinny,
bro.
Vinny,
You're being duped. He's a liar.
Hang on, Vinny. Hang on, just because.
You guys see how this man was literally foaming in his mouth. They couldn't even get a word, like a full sentence. Like they were just taking the words from each other's mouth. Like these people are literally in a full-blown meltdown because this man won. And all of a sudden, they seem to care about Sharia law. People are talking about their meltdown. Here are some more meltdown from white people who are angry at the fact that Zoran Mamdani won and as well coming at those who vote for them, coming at Democrats as well. You guys, it's been insane. Let's get into it.
They actually did it. They voted for a communist. New York City just voted for chaos, and guess what? They better prepare for it. New York City just voted for Zoran Mamdani, a self-proclaimed socialist, to mayor of New York City. You want to change? Congratulations, you're about to get it. Higher taxes, free groceries, zero accountability, and a city that's falling apart, ready to collapse completely. His policies, they sound great in theory. Free transit, rent freezes, universal health care. But guess who's paying for it? You are. Businesses will leave, jobs will vanish, and the same people cheering tonight will be the same ones crying about why their rent tripled and their salaries, well, they disappeared. This has nothing to do with background or religion. This has fully to do with ideology. New York City just handed the keys to a man who believes that the government should control everything you do. The Trump movement warned you. We warned you. The entire country warned you. Now the country's financial capital is in a socialist's hands. Pull up New York City because this is exactly what happens when you let socialist ideology, well, run your city. Get ready for skyrocketing taxes, fleeing businesses, and a financial meltdown described as progress. Us conservatives, well, we called it.
Congratulations to everyone who voted Democrat in yesterday's elections. Not only did you let them use you as leverage to get their candidates elected, but you actually did it. Because you know this was their plan all along, right? Which was to shut the government down just long enough for us to start feeling the pressure when something happens like SNAP benefits being cut off. But this is where they even had me fooled because I thought their demands were for Trump, but no, their demands were for you. Because right on cue, the day after Democrats sweep the elections across the nation, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are now demanding a bipartisan meeting to end the government shutdown. Very convenient, no? And honestly, I have to give the Democrats credit on this one because they really pulled a fast one on y'all and you didn't even see it coming. They just gave you the biggest display of why socialism does not work in a country run by greedy and corrupt politicians, and you guys ate it up. And don't even think about blaming anyone else but the Democrats for why this happened, because there are at least 4 or 5 prominent Democrat leaders on record saying that they were using this government shutdown as leverage. And I'm not one to say, I hope you get what you voted for. That's just not in my nature. It's not my mentality. It's not my MO. But I sincerely hope that you guys do realize very, very soon that you guys got yesterday. And don't worry, I'm not blaming you, okay? It happens to the best of us. I too used to be a crazy raging liberal who heard the words free and equal and thought they actually meant something by that. So the only thing I'm gonna say is this, okay? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that's on me, okay? They fooled you once with COVID. They fooled you again with these elections yesterday. If you let them fool you a third time, I can't help you.
Well, congratulations, New York City. You just elected your most radical mayor ever, and it may just cost your city everything. Yes, a political earthquake just hit New York, and it's not a drill, it's reality. Remember Zoran Mamdani, the ambassador of unity that everyone was sold on? Well, he didn't show up at the acceptance speech last night. Even Van Jones from CNN said that the warm, inclusive Mamdani that everyone saw on the campaign trail just simply vanished. Poof. In his place, a fiery, combative voice, declaring a mandate for change and taunting his opposition. Jones said that this character switch could cost him broad support, further dividing a city that desperately needs healing. So, what does this mean for New York now? A budget-busting progressive agenda, a city on edge, and an administration that's already raising alarms. And if you thought this election was just another headline, it's not. It'll be the turning point you look back on when the lights start flickering. Well, New York, now you get to play the game. Stability versus experiment. And we're all sitting in the bleachers watching one city's gamble that may very well have a domino effect on the rest of our country. But hey, this is what you voted for. Enjoy.
So my dad, a Republican state senator in New Mexico, is crashing out right now over the fact that Mamdani was elected mayor of New York City, which is where I live. And just a quick geography lesson, New York City is not in New Mexico. Fun fact. So I'm not sure why a state senator in New Mexico, not even U.S. senator, state senator in New Mexico, is at all concerned with what's going on in New York City, because that's not his state. Here's what my dad had to say about it. He said, "Today, the Democrats elected a Jew-hating commie for mayor of our largest city, the home of capitalism, and an attorney general who fantasized about killing Republicans and their kids." I assume he's referring to, I think it's the attorney general that was just elected in Virginia, which is also not in New Mexico. Virginia's a totally different state. Another little fun fact for you there. But like, what an insane tweet. Like, Jew-hating commie? What decade are we in? Also, not that we are required to fact-check ridiculous, clearly false statements, but what do you mean he's a Jew-hating commie? Like, Mamdani was literally endorsed by a rabbi and by Jewish leaders in Brooklyn. And he literally says, "Together, we will fight the scourge of anti-Semitism and build a city that works for every New Yorker." I don't know. To me, that sounds like he doesn't hate Jews. If he hated them, why is he shaking hands with them? Why is he saying that we're going to fight anti-Semitism? Seems to me like he has a pretty normal attitude about Jewish people. I don't know. Anyway, last time I checked, I'm pretty sure that state senators in New Mexico are supposed to be focused on the state of New Mexico, not on what's going on in New York City, not what's going on in Virginia. And I was like going through some other tweets that my dad has recently posted, and he was also like talking about like New Jersey and stuff, like, which again, that's not in New Mexico, so not sure why that's such a huge concern of yours. So how about you worry about New Mexico, and I will worry about New York City, because I live here, and I'm pretty stoked about the results. I voted for Mamdani, and I'm super excited for him to be the next mayor.
It is becoming blaringly obvious that there is a large population of people who voted for Mamdani who don't actually understand socialism, and you can see it based off of their reaction to the fact that there may potentially be a mass exodus of wealthy people. Now, why would that be counterproductive to socialism? If you don't understand, right? Because if you understand socialism, you understand why that would be a problem. But for some of you, I think you're going to need a history lesson on how socialism works. And I think a lot of you just voted for Mamdani because you heard the word free and just wanted to get on board with what he was saying. Now, the reason why it's counterproductive for you to support the fact that millionaires and billionaires are going to leave New York is because socialism works through taxation of the wealthy as a way to institute, government-assisted programs, welfare programs, and redistribute the wealth, okay? That's how socialism works. Now, if the wealthy leave, who are you going to be taxing? You're going to have to tax the middle class and the upper middle class. And these people are hardly surviving already, okay? Because we're wiping out the middle class, essentially. Socialism pretty much wipes out the middle class. Communism wipes out the middle class. And if you want to know something else, socialism is the first stage of communism. And I bet you guys didn't know that because it is blaringly obvious that you don't know how socialism works. Because if you did know how socialism works, you wouldn't be under the comments of all of these news reports saying that there might be a mass exodus of wealthy people and supporting that there's going to be a mass exodus of wealthy people and saying, yeah, all the rich people should get out of New York. We don't want them here anyways. That is counterproductive to what you are advocating for. If you want Mamdani in, because he is a socialist. So that just shows me that you don't know what you're talking about. And these are the people that are voting, you guys. These are the people that are voting. And I kid you not, I guarantee they just heard the word free. And they were like, yeah, we're buying whatever this guy's selling. They have no context on history or regimes or anything. They don't even know how socialism works, because if you knew how socialism works, you wouldn't say, yeah, get all the rich people out of New York. I'm at a loss.
The top 1% in New York City contributes around half of the personal income taxes. And they just elected someone who is openly hostile towards that 1%. Basically ran a whole campaign on being hostile towards that 1%. So all of these super far left-wingers that vastly overestimate their contribution to New York City, they think they carry the city on their shoulders, they're going to find out what that city looks like when you scare away that top 1%.
The only time these conservative activists will acknowledge the wealth inequality within these spaces is when they want to weaponize it to attack another person that is actively putting policy to redistribute that inequality to those that actually needs it. And their talking point is always centered around the 1% creating all these opportunities for everyone else, whilst ignoring the housing unaffordability, the inequality within these, cities, and also the system being stretched to its limit because of the strain. All at the same time, they ignore the contribution of average, Americans within these cities. Because a city that prioritizes investment over its people is not something to be proud of. The fact that Zoran Mamdani redistributed that attention to ordinary Americans and say, hey, this is not a city for only billionaires, it makes some of you uncomfortable, says exactly what we need to know about the conservative talking points. It's always been centered around fee and no actual logic behind it.
Y'all want to hear some not so fucked up news? The Republicans are crashing out, y'all. Frumpy was going on a fucking Truth Social rant last night. And so it begins. Pass voter reform, voter ID, no mail-in ballots, save our Supreme Court from the packing, no two-state addition. Republicans terminate the filibuster, get back to passing legislation. He was on a roll. But he wasn't the only one. Mike Johnson went on a rant calling Mamdani an extremist and a Marxist, and the consequences felt like the entire nation was going to be paying for. Boy, shut up. Tommy talking about don't come to our fabulous red states. Bitch, don't you know blue states pay for y'all to survive? Ted Cruz was all in tears when Carol lost. Never trust a black woman that can't keep her hair done. Baby, the hate was real. Megan McMahon said, how am I supposed to raise my children in this? Girl, you so dramatic. Shut up. They white. They'll be fine. And the New York Post already had their goddamn front page together. That won't change a damn thing. Now, Wiggs R Us said there are 2 reasons why we lost the election last night. I wasn't on the ballot and the government shut down. It's your fault we're shut down. Stop trying to double our fucking healthcare premiums. Now, last night we had a clean sweep in Virginia. We have our first female governor. Go ahead, Abigail. We also took lieutenant governor and the fucking attorney general seat. We gained 13 seats in the House of Delegates. Mickey took governor of New Jersey. Yay! And it looks like the citizens of California did not come to play, baby. Prop 50 will be in full effect in time for the midterms. Those seats are ours. Now in Pennsylvania, all Democratic judges kept their seats, so we good. But Mississippi, I'm kind of disappointed. Republicans kept their power with a supermajority, 35 to 18. We did get a couple of seats, but not enough. All in all, it's looking really good for us in the midterms, but we got to keep this pace moving. I love to see white folks crash out. Let's see what today brings us.
As you guys know, Zora Mamdani is progressive, democratic socialist, and as well a Muslim. And that Muslim part is actually the part that is giving a lot of them a huge headache. This is exposing how much of Islamophobia still exists at the core of conservative politics. There is nowhere on his platform where he was seen advocating for Sharia law. This man is literally pushing for affordable housing. He's pushing for equity, investment in working class communities, holding the ultra-rich accountable. And this is the reason why the billionaires are shitting in their pants as well, because they know what is about to happen. And this is the reason why there are tons of Republicans online right now. Let's even start from the orange man, posing and painting him as a threat majorly because of his religion. And I believe this says a lot more about them than it says about him, because clearly these people are not afraid of Sharia law. They are afraid of taxes. They are freaking afraid that this new leadership is not going to protect their luxury estate, freaking afraid that they are not going to be able to buy their way out of city regulations. Most importantly, they are afraid that New York City is just a precedent, a working class people first, unapologetically brown mayor got voted in. That right there is exactly what is having them shoot. The billionaires are about to be holding emergency meeting because a lot of them are foaming in the mouth. They just cannot phantom it. Even the orange man has been on a rant on the Truth app or on the Lie app, whatever you want to call it, on X. MAGA influencers that are pushing conspiracy theories because they can see it right in their eyes that a lot of things are changing faster than they can handle. Newly, you can see people who are not even in America, people from Canada, even South Africans, people from Uganda. They are literally celebrating this man's win. The joy from those who are happy at the fact that this man won is so contagious. I talked about it yesterday. The joy is so contagious that it's rubbing off badly on those people, because how can people celebrate a son of an immigrant, a brown Muslim man becoming the mayor of the biggest city by population in America? Like, how can you think of that? How can you phantom that? How can you wrap your head around that, right? I want to hear what you guys think about Republicans and now crashing out at the fact that this man won. Let me hear your take in the comment section. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. When you heard the news and he was announced as the winner, what was the first thing that came to your mind? I am genuinely interested in what your first reaction is when it was announced that he is the winner. Drop it in the comment section. I will be right there engaging as well. I want to see it. I want to read it. And I am going to see you guys in the next one.